Good morning, everyone. Eureka by James Baldwin. So, this is your fifth chapter in your literature reader by the famous author James Baldwin. So, about the author James Baldwin, his full name was James Arthur Baldwin, and not like any other writers that you have learned till now, because most of the writers that we have learned till now, they were British writers. Now he is an American writer, and importantly he was famous for his essays, and he has written many quotes also. So he was an American essayist, novelist, and playwright in the sense like dramas. Okay, he had written many dramas also. Now you can see like he belonged to modern period, that means he lived in 90s. Some of his famous works include Go Tell It on the Mountain, The Amen Corner, Glowani's Room, and Going to Meet the Man, among many others. So children, about the story, the introduction to Eureka. It is one of the classic stories retold by James Baldwin. James Baldwin has actually retold many stories, like 30 stories in his book 30 More Famous Stories Retold. Okay, and this is also taken from his book 30 More Famous Stories Retold. Retold in the sense like there are some stories which we have heard from our parents or from our grandparents, so we are not sure, like when the story has written, we don't have any proof for that, but yes, we might have heard from somewhere and we might have passed it to the next generation also, and then he has published, he has the story that he has heard, he has published it in the book. And the thing is, like, the character called Hero existed. Archimedes, the wise man, existed. He's of course the scientist, the famous scientist, and Archimedes lived in the kingdom of Syracuse. Okay, and because of Archimedes only, that kingdom was famous. Existed. The story is considered to be a legend, and actually the story is supposed to be written by Vitruvius, a Roman writer, in the 1st century. So imagine, in the 1st century the story is supposed to be written, and after that he has retold the story in the 20th century by 90s. And Vitruvius, a Roman writer, who included the tale in his introduction to his 9th book of architecture. Here we have some photos or pictures of some great inventors like Galileo, James Watt, and Archimedes. I'm pretty sure, like, you might be knowing like what Galileo had invented: telescope, James Watt, steam engine, and Archimedes, he has invented, actually he is a very famous scientist for most of his principles in science. Find more. So this is about find about some of the great inventors of the world and their inventions also. Find more about some of the most famous legends based on their lives. Like for Archimedes, legends in the sense like traditional stories, but there will not be any proof for that. And regarding, now here it is like regarding some great inventors, you need to find out some legends based on their lives. For example, for Archimedes, you will get n number of legends based on him, based on his life, and there is some legend that is based on his death also. But the thing is, like, when you say about legend, it is something like that existed, but we are not sure about it. Okay, it is some story that we have heard of, and there are many legends about Archimedes, and about Galileo also. There are some, so you can try to get it from a library or from some other books also. Yes, of course, you can find it in Google also. Here we can just see some famous inventors and their inventions. Try to match it. Like Galileo, he invented telescope. Henry Ford, from the very name itself, car. Otis, again the brand name, elevator. James Watt, steam engine. Thomas Edison, light bulb, and Marconi invented radio. So children, in this PPT we have covered about the author, an introduction to the author, introduction to the story, and then we also discussed about some great inventors and the inventions also, and then the legends that is based on the lives of this great inventors. In the next PPT we will be discussing the story in detail.